Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Industry Show. I'm Nitin Bajaj and we are in Irvine, California at the offices of Axera Inc. and GT Connect. Joining us today is one of the pioneers in the IT industry, Shankar Ram. Shankar, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning,
we really
Nitin.
appreciate it.
Good morning, Nitin.
Thanks.
Nice to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So over your career, you've had quite a few companies, you've had successful exits, and we'll talk about that and the challenges that you faced along the journey. But let's start from the beginning, from your childhood, from the city you were raised in, your parents.
Sure. I was born, brought up, and all my education is from Chennai.
Okay.
I was born into a large family of 6 siblings, a large Hindu family in Chennai. And the first 15 years of my life was great. My father was a businessman, real estate developer. We had a lot of money and it was fantastic, great. But he started making mistakes. And before you know, in 2 years, he was bedridden. And he is losing money in business. And in 2 years, he passed away at the age of 51. I was 18. And here I'm in a family in Madras, Chennai, Hindu family, with 7 of us, 5 sisters, none of them married. And we realized we don't have any money. All the real estate holdings he had was all in debt.
Wow.
And his life insurance was not renewed. It was very difficult. We were completely broke. And I realized, no, I had to do something to continue my education. My father believed in education. So all my sisters were educated. They worked to support the family. I had to scramble. I had to beg. I had to go take scholarship, loans to finish my education. It was the toughest teenage life I had. But I successfully completed my engineering from Chennai, and then stayed in India for a few years to pay off some loans and obligations, and then came to this country with a ticket I borrowed from my grandmother and $200 in my pocket. I landed in this country with a borrowed ticket and a $200 cash in this country. It was a tough, good experience.
Wow, that's kind of textbook
Yeah.
rise from the Phoenix story. What year was this?
This is 1979 AD. I landed in this country.
And did you know people here before?
No, my uncle was here. He was in Mississippi. And but again, my family had sort of let us down. My father was the only businessman in the whole family. Everybody's an accountant, Brahmins, accounting numbers.
Jobs
He was the first person to do business. So everybody was telling him that he's going to fail. And when he failed, they let us down completely. And they wanted to make sure that I do not, or none of my family members are in business. And I had to prove them wrong.
Jeez.
So I knew somebody, but then I came with a scholarship, half a scholarship, but I started marketing from the day I landed in this country. I went straight from the airport. I went to my apartment, had a shower, went to the chairman's office, negotiated with him, got a full scholarship.
Wow.
And immediately on day 1, full scholarship and stayed in this country.
Wow. It reminds me a bit of the time when I came here. I had a I had a scholarship, but I had only 10 hours of work. And first point of action for me was to go and get another 10 hours so I could completely pay for my rent and expenses. But this was back in 79. So
79, 80, yeah.
no access to internet, no Google.
No, nothing. No, no cell phones.
Were you the oldest son?
No, I had 4 older sisters. I'm the first son.
The oldest son.
So, the expectation was very high.
Yes.
No oldest son. They told me that I had to quit school, go to work, and support the family. That's the thing. And I said, no. My dad wanted me to finish engineering. I'm going to finish engineering. I'm going to do this. And I did fight it. It was a tough fight within my family members and outside.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that must have been like. And that was, you were still, what, 3?
18.
Yeah,
18.
so at least 3 years to go to complete your education.
Engineering.
Wow, that's... So you came here and then, well, before we go into deep into that, tell me about, at least in the first 15 years, you must have had some hobbies, interests, sports.
Yes, as usual, every Indian, we play cricket. And we had our own cricket team. And I played cricket. I played for the school. I played for the college. I had fun. I really enjoyed playing cricket and badminton. It was fun.
Okay. Do you still play any of those games?
No, I'm not touched with any cricket. I'm not into any sports. I watch games, that's all.
Okay. Any hobbies you've picked up over the years that?
No, I always used to read books, even in India.
Okay.
I went to a school where they stressed that reading books is interesting, it is important. So I always read books. And I've been reading books for all I know, every day. I read an average one book a week. I still
Wow.
read books.
Are you still on the paper format, or you
Yes,
tried new?
yes, paper format. I'm a member, active member of my library. I give money to them. I'm a member. I take books. Every 3 weeks I go there, take 3 books. And that's all I do still. Yeah.
No Kindle, no.
Nope. And now with all the flight banning, I think I'll be right. I can read books, and you guys cannot read books.
So, in all your travels, what's the favorite city that you've come to like?
Oh, my favorite is Kauai in Hawaii.
Okay.
That's where I want to retire. That's where I want to be. Beautiful town.
Are you already scoping it out as a?
No. My wife said no, so it's already ruled out. But I will continue to do that. I continue to sell it, and I even try to convince her. So if I die, can you please throw my ashes in Hawaii? So.
Oh, that's not.
There's a
happening
beautiful
for
temple
many-
also there, Hindu temple
in Kauai.
in Kauai. Beautiful temple, Shiva
Nice.
temple.
Do you go? How often do you go there?
No, I've been there about 3-4 times.
Okay.
And I go to Hawaii. I love Hawaii, but then somehow I like that place. It's a very peaceful, beautiful place.
You're trying to find another island that you might like more than Kauai.
Yeah. No. My wife wants to live in Orange County in LA. This is it. We're not going into any island.
What's the one interesting thing that you carry around with you?
I would like to say my self-confidence, and I'm a very confident guy on what I am. Let's say I know what I am, so I carry that with me all the time. But physically, I do carry a silver coin, which I now, somebody gave it to me about 25 years ago after a
Okay.
puja, a Lakshmi coin. And whether I believe in it, I still carry it wherever I go. It's gone through all the airports, security, this, that, I still carry it with me.
People ask you, like,
25
what
years,
is that?
28 years.
Especially at the airports, do they kind of?
They look at it and said, "What's this?" "Oh, it's a silver coin." "Oh, okay," and then give it back to me. That's all. Yeah. So I still carry it with me.
So you, like you said, you probably don't think of it that way, but it might be a lucky charm or thing.
It is a lucky charm. Somehow I think it's a lucky charm. Sometimes, whether you believe in God or this or that, you need to hold on to something, and that's something I'm holding on to in my grown-up life. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I didn't have a safety blanket at my younger age, but now that's my.
It's become your.
Yes,
thing
everybody,
that
my
has
kids,
stayed
my
with you.
my kids make fun of it, but that's it. I still have it.
Any favorite movie?
Avatar. Avatar is a movie, and I'm waiting for the sequence. It's coming.
Yes.
Avatar is the best movie I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And it relates to, especially from a Hindu mythology perspective.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie, fantastic graphics, fantastic story. It's
Yeah.
a really nice movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I remember I saw it, I was like, wait, we already know all this. Like,
Yeah.
what's the big deal with this?
Yeah, the
But it was-
graphics, the animation is excellent. Yeah.
Very high quality.
Mhm. Yeah.
One person you would like to meet or would have liked to meet if that person is not alive anymore?
Yeah, there are a lot of people I wanted to meet in my life, and in the IT industry mainly. But there's one person I'm always, even today, I would like to meet is Dalai Lama. I'd like to meet him, just spend a few minutes in the same room with him. That's all.
Get some of
Need
his
not even
peace.
talk to him. The one person I had a similar feeling was Shankaracharya from South.
Right.
I'm named after him, Shankar. My father was
Okay.
a avid believer, and that's why when I was born, after 4 daughters, I was named after him, Shankar. And I remember as a child, I'd been to his thing, and he had come to my house.
Nice.
My father's such a believer, and I found a peace, and I find the same thing in Dalai Lama somehow.
Right.
Nothing to do with religion, but somehow I find a peace in people. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, if I could only get a bit of his peace, right?
Yeah.
Just get it from him. So, going back to your move to the U.S., talk to us more about the transition from going to school to setting up. When was the first opportunity, and what was your first business? How did that come along?
Yeah. I finished my MS in Information Science, System Science, got a job, got my green card. Then I joined a large multinational firm. It was a great, in Texas. It was a great job, fantastic opportunity, fantastic challenge, unbelievable job, good money, But after joining the company, it was very difficult because the director and the senior management was French. Most of the people are Americans, and my boss is American. And there's so much politics between French and the American, and I was asked to take sides
Oh,
from day one. My French director liked me, my American manager. It was so difficult. After 3 months, I decided this is too much. I'm not able to focus on my job.
right.
But I know that if I play politics, I can go up. But I'm not a guy who plays politics. So 6th month, I said, that's it, I walked out. I gave up everything and I walked out, became an independent consultant.
Wow.
That was 1983. And that's it. I never looked back. I've been a business consultant, business person from that on, day on.
Wow.
That's it. I started a small company because Reagan had just came up with some rules. I started a company for consulting, but that's not a real company, just for tax purposes. My first company was 1986.
Okay.
I co-founded and moved to California.
Okay. What was the company about?
That is about computer mapping
Okay.
and digitizing and computer mapping, because I was into mapping and graphics and database. That's what my specialty was. So I started a company to do mapping for Pacific Bell.
Okay.
And that was my first company to start.
And then how did you transition from that to doing what you do now?
That's a long story, but I don't want to go into some political story. But that didn't work. My partner and I did not see eye to eye. I had a partner, and we had raised $500,000 in 1986
Wow.
from investors, $600,000 confirmed. But the moment you see money, people have different ideas, and the ethical practices, something did not work. So I walked out of the company and had some lawsuits. So I walked out and became an independent consultant again. And it so bumped into another person who was doing work in the freight forwarding customs industry, and they needed some help. And I went in and started helping them and realized that there is a potential, there is something that people are not seeing. There's some gaps in the industry. So I chose the opportunity to address the gap, came up with an innovative solution, and started another company in 1987 called Importers Software Services, and went in and started selling my product to customers.
And so this was more in the freight forwarding business.
International trade. U.S. Customs was just automating the importation process. And every company was importing, manufacturing outside, from Mexico, from China, from Thailand, Indonesia. Goods were coming in. U.S. Customs wanted to automate the whole process. And my software, the application software I wrote, automated that process and electronically send the information to customs to clear the goods. So it's part of the supply chain,
Right.
where I take all right from the purchase order level all the way through receiving in the warehouse. And I decided to sell to importers directly.
Got it.
And because people were using brokers, and I came up with a solution to sell to importers.
So
And
you
that's-
made the U.S. Customs life easier by digitizing all this information so that they can have easy access to it?
Yes, the other way around. U.S. Customs wanted to make their life easier, so they're forcing on everybody.
I see.
But there were no takers,
Got it.
and the brokers were not willing to accept all these changes, and there are a lot of issues, with the customs all across the country. There is a broker in LA, might not be the same broker in New York, and they were declaring wrong things. So customs was trying to streamline how do they do it.
Right. Kind of set
And
some
my
standards.
solution provided that. I'm telling importers, you use my software and you deal directly with US Customs, like the tax, right? You can do TurboTax, similar concept. I said you can deal directly with Customs. Or if you don't want to deal with Customs, you can give the data to the brokers. You control the data.
Right.
And that way you have consistency in the data, wherever you are located.
Got it.
And so I was making life easier for the importers and easier for customs, but
Right.
customs was trying to put them, the penalty, the onus is on the importer. So I was the facilitator,
Got it.
and I came up with a solution for that. So I was one of the first to come up with a solution for importers.
And that's what GT Connect does today.
Yes.
even.
That importer software was a company I took off, sold to big multinational companies, Mattel and Hasbro's and Volkswagens and Subarus, you name it, Target and all those companies. And I sold the company in 2004.
Okay.
And 2008, I had NetWin Solutions already, another company, and we started the product again on a SaaS-based, cloud-based solution. And that company changed its name to GT Connect, what it is today, which is exactly the same product platform, wider platform, what I had in 1987, but more on a cloud-based system, service.
So 30 years later, you're still in the same business,
Yeah.
and that's still a need, and it's still a growing
That's
market.
right, yes.
Wow.
And importers are still looking for solutions, exporters are looking for solutions. So we cater to the global market now.
What's your competitive landscape? Like, who are your competitors?
There are a lot of vendors who do this, and you have to be approved by U.S. Customs to get the software. A lot of vendors in this industry. But again, you sustain by providing quality product, good support.
Right.
You know, it's a product that works, functionality, and by providing support to the customers and working with customs changes. So we've survived this many years, and there's always competition. There's only one company public in that space. The rest are all private companies.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do have competition. We have 10 products. So one I might have two people competing. One I might have six competing. It's a different thing.
Different areas of the solution and the problem. We were just talking about one of your existing customers, but then you're also expanding on that relationship.
Yeah, I've been always dealing with the DHL. I wrote, actually when I became a consultant in 1987, I wrote the first manifest system for DHL, the first manifest system for them when they were very small. I wrote it for them as part of my consulting work. And then it so happened in the late 90s, DHL wanted a new system for their importation. They went on a nationwide, evaluation, and then we got selected.
And RFP process.
And so they DHL Express, 150 users all across the country use my product. And it's been 20 years, they still use my product. Now DHL Global, which is another division for freight forwarding, uses our product for foreign trade zones. And now they are planning on expanding and using more of our certain products. So DHL has been my customer for
30 years,
15, 20 years probably. And we do a lot of work with them. And I dealt with UPS. I sold my company to UPS.
Wow. Talk about validation of business. So I remember we were also talking about Starbucks being one of your customers back in the days when it wasn't as famous or as big. So, and you had some interesting insights.
that was interesting. I was selling directly to importers, and I sold it to Mattel, I sold it to Hasbro and Volkswagen, and Hasbro had a big operation in Seattle. So Seattle Customs knew who I was. So when Starbucks started, and they were importing coffee beans, and they were looking for a solution, and somehow through connections, and they said, hey, why don't you look at software from this company? There's a guy by name Shankar. So they said, okay, and then we bought the software, something $15,000 software. And I went to Seattle to install, and there was only 2 employees at the time. Went there to install my software, just me and another employee. I went there to install. I was full suit with tie and everything going there. The system was loading. Those days it was not cloud-based. I had to go load now. So I was loading the software. I was looking for a coffee, walking around, and a person walks by, puts his hand on my shoulder and saying, hey, what are you looking for? I said, I'm looking for coffee. And he said, oh, you must be the vendor who's come here. We bought some software from you. And then he said, I'm Howard. And I said, oh, I'm Shankar. And then he took me around, got a coffee, and then I realized it's Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks. A fantastic experience, unbelievable experience I had. And they bought my import and export system and used it for some time. They're not my customer anymore, but they did use it for about 5 years.
Wow. And those must have been the crazy growth days for them.
Yeah. I think at that time they had less than 30 stores, 25, 30 stores. They had an office around Rotunda where they had listed all the stores on the wall.
On a single wall.
On a single wall, all the stores, and they were amazing. He showed me the wall. I said, wow. And then now you need 5 buildings to write all the store names there now. And I remember, so I'm proud I was there when they were in its infancy probably. Yeah.
Have you run into Howard since?
No. I'm nobody there. But I think I was probably walking around. He wanted to make sure that I don't see any secrets, so he led me back to my room. And I was the only one in suit, and I was standing out, separate, different. Yeah.
So, who was your first customer, or your first, biggest customer?
My first customer was actually a company called Steel, S-T-I-H-L, out of Virginia Beach. Okay. They were my first customer who believed in my product. But the company that gave me the boost was Mattel Toys. Okay. Mattel was 1989. It was a $600 million small company, and there was one manager who was a champion who found it interesting what I was doing. He wanted to go places with U.S. Customs. He wanted to be the Commissioner of Customs one day. So he and I came up with a vision and a plan for Mattel. and we automated the complete supply chain importation process for them. I traveled on behalf of Mattel to Thailand, Indonesia, China, Amsterdam, Mexico, everywhere, and I automated the whole process. And Mattel, meanwhile, kept on acquiring Fisher-Price and this and that. And from $600 million, I was there at a $4 billion. I'd done all the automation for them. And they won an award from U.S. Customs in '91 to be the first importer in the country to be completely paperless process. Completely, no paper from...
Back in '91?
'91.
Wow.
The first importer. Nobody in the country had done it. And I wrote the entire software on my own. It was such an honor. I learned so much, improved my product. And the reputation, wherever I go, says Mattel, people know, Mattel was well known, growing so fast from 600 million to 4 billion. And anybody talk about automation, it's like a white paper, right? Anybody, oh, Mattel does it, and this guy did it for them. It was a fantastic opportunity for me, learned a lot, millions of dollars of business, and they're still my client. Even today, Mattel using the same, not same, cloud-based product.
Well, you've evolved as a...
They're still our customers today.
That's huge. Wow. So you're also, aside from this, aside from all the tech work, you're also in a very non-tech business, in food distribution. So tell us a bit more about it. How did you get involved with it? And
yeah, one of my friends here came in and told me that he knew the family who had started a company to import Haldiram food. And they brought Haldiram to Southern California. And they had a business, and they wanted me to see if I can help them. They needed some money and some operational help because they're growing so fast. So both of us, he and I put some money into the company and went in, even though I put it because of him, and went and put the money. And then since he was growing his business, he asked me to get involved. I went in there, and I realized that these people didn't know what they were doing. They had so much inventory, receivables, high debt, and it was so complicated, I told them to file for bankruptcy.
Wow.
I started a separate company, another company, negotiated with Haldiram, and closed down that business and started importing Haldiram food products. And because my money was already stuck, I had no choice. Either I walk out and take the loss, or I have to prove. I'm very much into challenges. I like to take a challenge. I can turn around any company, doesn't matter what industry. I know operations in and out of most of the companies. Because in this company, it's nothing but import. I understand import process, I understand FDA process. I'm an engineer, software writer, I know warehousing, I know distribution.
You know the complete package.
So I said, okay, I know all the things. And I said, let me do it. So we did it. And we've been in business quite some time and profitable. We are doing pretty good. But the problem is that's one business, there's no intelligence required. I don't know the supplier. I don't have control over the retail stores. And both of them are. So this is one business where I don't meet the supplier, I don't meet the end customer. It's just an operational cash flow issue. It's just running the business. I enjoyed it when I turned around, and consistently 5 years I've got over 2 million sales and profitability, but I don't enjoy it anymore. When I don't enjoy something, I just walk out.
The challenge is missing now.
There's no challenge.
It's very monotonous.
Yeah, that's right. I decided not to grow the business because growing the business means investing more money, more inventory, more receivables. It's just a simple mathematics. This plus that equals this. That's all.
So you got into this business not because there was a technical need. It was purely out of helping somebody.
Somebody wanted me to put it. They needed money and then they needed support. I went in there and proved to them and themselves. Now the two people who started the company, they're still there, but I won 100%. So I'm giving it back to them with taking no equity. I'm giving back the whole company to them, saying, okay, now that I've proven, you guys take the ball and run. So I think I gave them an opportunity to survive, to succeed, and I've proven them how it can be done. And I'm happy.
Them the right steps.
That's right. I'm very happy, even though my original investment is gone, but that doesn't matter.
It was gone anyways.
So I'm happy now that I brought them to the point they can run this for the next 5-10 years the same way and take home some money.
And if they want, they can grow it. If they don't,
that's right.
They keep it as is. That's really interesting, though. So
it's a satisfaction of taking something, completing it, proving, showing that it can be done, backing away.
That's kind of to me at least, it's kind of the basic reason why entrepreneurs go in. Because of that need for adventure, the need for challenge, to go in and fix something that is broken. But they have to know when to stop. They have to know when to grow, when to stop, when to do. You can't get too greedy or too power crazy. That's a tough thing. And do money crazy. Wisdom.
Yeah, money crazy. Yeah.
For someone like me, I wouldn't know that because I haven't done that. You've done that many a times.
No, that's
You know
tough.
it.
That's what, as I said, no, there's a call I had with other company who was a person of mine, one of my investment companies doing very well. He's in the crossroads. Should I sell the company? Should I grow more? Should I go public? It's a never ending. Business is not something you start and end. It's a all-consuming, never-ending
True.
job. Yeah.
It's a 24/7. We don't.
That's
stop.
right.
Have you yourself thought of taking any of your businesses public?
No, no, I'm not into that. I don't have the patience, energy, time, and it's like politics. You can't satisfy everybody,
True.
and I don't want the public to come into my arena. Yeah.
You've had quite a few successful exits over your career. What's been your investment philosophy? Do you invest in a person, a team, or the idea or the business? What do you look for?
My philosophy, it varies from person to person, but I mostly invest in people. I'm a people person. I believe in people, and I invest in people. Yes, they have to have some good ideas, good product, sustainable company, sustainable product, all that. But people with the right attitude, people, ethical people, honest, compassionate people, that definitely, I'm willing to listen. And if they have the right mindset, right attitude, I will invest with them.
What kind of qualities? I mean, you mentioned a few, but is there anything specific? A combination of skills plus tech, or depending on if they're coming from a medical field, do they have to be a doctor or qualified in that industry?
Yeah, see, definitely. You look for qualification.
Right.
I'm not looking for any specific technical skills, any specific product. I basically look for the qualification. What's the background? What's the experience they have, and whether they have the right attitude. Ethics is very important to me, and so basically that's what I look for: the right attitude, ethical, willing to give and take, willing to work hard.
Right.
Those
What are their
kind of
values?
things. Value, basically value.
Them?
That's it. That's what defines me. Because once I invest, it's not just money alone. It's basically time, money, and advice.
Right.
And once you do it, it's not necessarily they should follow it because they're all smart people. It's just that you give your time and energy. I want to make sure it goes to an ethical person, a person who has a value, who will take the ball and run. It's not necessarily that it's going to make me money. It's just more like, hey, am I satisfied with what I'm doing?
Right.
And I'm the same person. I want the same other person to think the same way.
And in you, they're getting a very well-rounded mentor. In addition to being in these industries, which gives you a really good insight into their businesses with what your clients are doing, you've also been on the board of a bank. You've been on the board of a tech marketing company. So you have like a very broad range of experience.
Yes. Mostly it's in operations and management, marketing. The one section or one talent I lost touch with is technology. I tried to keep up with it, but there's so much changes, and I lost touch with technology. I don't know all the latest products and gadgets you can use and all that. I'm not with technology. But then I said, hey, there are a lot of youngsters, a lot of people. I cannot keep up with those people. They're smart people. You pay money, you got them. So
I think it's an understatement, or you're being, I don't know, too humble. You've mastered the art of tech, and you understand the fundamentals. I think that stays. You can still ask questions.
See, that's exactly where I wrote the programs myself. When Mattel, every line of code is written by me. The original product was written by me. So I am a techie guy. I used Oracle. I've done everything. But at one point I realized that I'm doing too much. It's not worth it. There are so many smart people, as smart as me, because I thought I was the smartest guy. That's normally entrepreneurs think they're the most intelligent people in the world.
Yep.
So I realized there are so many people. All it is money. I can pay and get people who are much smarter than me and who can do a better job than me. And when I realized it, I started growing. I said, I have something they don't have.
Right.
But I can buy their talent. So I started doing that. So I have the skills, people skills, management, marketing skills, and understanding the software architecture. I can listen to somebody and realize that this is what I have to do to solve their pain. And then come up with an idea and scheme up and hire programmers to do that. Instead of me being the programmer. The moment I understood that, I started making money and started growing.
What are the differences or a difference between the times you have succeeded and not succeeded?
So the word success itself, I define it differently. But let's say for monetary purposes, not success, a failure. Yes, it is disappointing and frustrating a little bit, but I don't take it to heart. I take it as a learning lesson.
Sure.
I'm of a very odd philosophy, very weird. Very few people have my philosophy is if I write a check, wrote a check 5 minutes ago to you, or and you cashed it, that's it. I don't think about it. The next minute you give me either the check amount or anything you give me is extra money I did not have. That's the way I look at it. So it is never a loss for me because it's gone. I don't have it anyway. The decision was made, it's gone. So I don't look at it as a loss. So it's still, what did I get out of it?
Right.
Was I able to help him go from here to the next point? And that's what I looked at as a success. So definitely there'll be some frustration, disappointment. What did I do wrong? What did he do wrong? How could I change it, turn it around?
But it's once you invest in a person, one thing is to invest money, but then one thing is to invest your time and sign someone up as a mentee of yours.
Yeah.
And if they disappoint
I don't want to let them down. I want to make sure, help them.
Right.
But then if they keep dropping the ball, you can only do so much.
Right.
So I had to take a step back and move away from it.
But when you're with them, you're giving it your 110%.
Oh, definitely.
And it's up to them
Definitely.
to keep pace and.
Definitely. I take it to heart. It's my company. It's mine. It's my responsibility to make sure that it goes in the right direction.
That's what makes you a great mentor. So thanks for doing what you do. How has your Indian ethnicity and upbringing shaped either your entrepreneurial career or the decisions that you make?
The IT industry, being an Indian, it's a sort of bad connotation, right? Everybody's in IT and all that. But luckily, those days,
just to make a point there, we've done quite a few of these interviews now. We're number 16. You're the first tech entrepreneur we've had on our show. And it wasn't by design, but it does bring out a point. We interviewed Monish before you, and he was in the tech industry, but he's given that up now and decided to become a financial guru. But just kind of goes to define the expanse of the Indian expertise.
Yeah, so they take it for granted. You're a doctor or an IT guy, that's it. No?
Yeah.
And but again, those days there was not that many Indians in the IT industry and all that, and most of them are service guys. I was an application guy. So leaving that aside, but my father was a very, very decent man, and he was trusted people, and that's what was the failure of his businesses. But he trusted people, was very kind to everybody, treated everybody fair, very nice, including the servants, very nice. And somehow that rubbed off on me. And I've been very straightforward, very nice with everybody I meet. I respect every human being. That's my motto. And it has helped me to keep my employees and my customers. As I said, Mattel and customers have been with me for 20, 30 years. My employees, some of my core employees who have been with me from the day one, from 95, they're still with me.
Wow.
So in the IT industry, people keep jumping jobs and taking things, but they didn't leave. In between, when they sold to UPS, they left and then all came back.
Wow.
So because, I've never, in my 35 years of business, I never had a single problem against workman's comp, issues, anything. I worked with Americans, Chinese, Indians, doesn't matter. I never had a problem because I treated all of them fair, nice. I trusted everybody.
And you're a people person, and it shows like you're not faking it. You really like and you're interested in talking.
Yeah, and I never trusted my software. Anybody can take a copy, do what you want.
Wow.
Because you can take a copy and go, but can you sell? It's different.
Right.
So I never patented my product. I was always open and trusted people. Even today, my finances, my accountant Lynn, she has been with me from 1990. And she does my books for all the companies. All my companies' passwords, IDs, I don't even know. She knows. I never done anything, any wire, anything she knows. Except for my personal account. She has every ID password, everything about me she knows.
Wow.
And what's she going to do? No, at the most, they know I'm smart enough to audit things on and off, random. So they know that I'm capable of doing that. So far, nothing has happened to me.
But the trust, it's a
trust
two-way
is very
street,
important.
so.
Yes.
Oh, we have a question, so let me take that. Would you recommend any books or show for someone who's interested in becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, there are so many books you can read, so many books on management, and how to start a business, how to do all that, but you don't become an entrepreneur by reading a book. You don't start a business by reading a book.
Agreed.
Period.
Get out and do it.
That's it. If it's in you, you'll do it. That's all. So I don't recommend any books to become an entrepreneur. And books it gives you an experience, understanding of things, but it's a lot of gut feeling, a lot of decision making.
Yeah, this is an experiential.
That's right. It just comes from you.
Yeah. So, what drives you? Is this an approval from someone, or what is motivating you?
Initially, it was definitely, I know, because my father failed as a businessman. My family, our surrounding family, all said business is wrong, that you should not business, including my uncle, everybody. And they refused to support me if I'm going to be in business. So initially, it was to prove to my family and to my siblings that yes, I can do the business. But very soon, I grew out of it because I was having so much fun solving problems, providing solutions to customers, and I just didn't care. I do whatever I enjoy. I always tell even my employees, tell them, you come to work, you have fun, enjoy. If you don't enjoy, just walk out.
So it's changed over the years. So
Yeah,
it's proving your family.
the first 8 years, 6, 7 years, 10 years
Right.
probably. After that, I said, I don't care. I'm having too much fun.
Then it was serving the
Done.
customers, and now
Yeah,
it's
it was
maybe
fun.
more helping out.
Yes,
What
and
others are doing.
initial my product. What am I solving? It is so much fun with the customers, and how am I helping the employees, getting the green cards and this and that,
Right.
and then later on helping the other companies I'm working with. So it was so much of giving, and I was getting so much. It was so much fun.
Nice. So what's the one thing that's exciting you most right now?
Now, right now it's fun. I have a lot of time in the world, and I spend time with my family. I travel all around the world. I love travel. And second thing, I look at all these companies I invested in, people I meet and work with. It is so fascinating, and I'm looking forward to some of the successes, more successes. But it's fun. I'm fun spending time with my family, with my children, and traveling, and fighting with my wife.
You're enjoying the journey now.
Yes, yeah.
So you're also on. You have a trust, and you're also with a couple of the non-profits. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, philanthropy, charity. I think that's a very important, should be an important aspect of everybody's life.
Right.
That is something similar to what I talked. Another one, giving.
Giving back,
Yeah, advice, time, money
Right.
is so much, brings so much happiness. And I've been giving money for the past 20 years to all the American India Foundation, Akshay Patra, there's that, so many organizations. And 3-4 years ago, I decided I'm tired of giving to too many of these. I want to do something which I can relate to me, my life. So I started a trust with my friends in India, in Chennai. It's called Gindi 1975 Trust, which provides scholarships and full funding for anybody who wants to go into technical education, who are smart from poor families who don't have money. Because I remember how 3-4 years I had to go beg loans, stand in lines, apply for scholarships, anything and everything. I get a phone call from my uncle, go up, that person is giving money, go give it, or get $1,000, 1,000 rupees. And I decided that I will let their life be much better. So I give full scholarship to people.
Wow.
So far we have 20 who graduated or got jobs, and I think the next year or so we'll have another 10 more. So I want to do it as long as I can.
Wow,
That's one.
So how
As
can-
far as the India is concerned. So I stopped giving to charities here, and I do that for India. Here in the US, same thing, given to Red Cross and all that. But finally, last year, I found a group called Food Finders.
Okay.
And they're based in Lakewood, California. And basically, their motto is, we rescue food and end hunger. They collect food from restaurants and coffee shops and bagel shops and grocery shops, leftover food, extra food, and give it to food banks and charities and churches. So I volunteer for them Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm a driver. I go pick up food from restaurants, Vons, grocery shops, and deliver it to Hawaiian Garden Food Bank and churches. And then on Fridays, I deliver 25 bags food for deserving kids and their families out of Long Beach.
Okay.
I give to Lincoln Elementary School every Friday. I go give them bags from there. So I'm really enjoying it because it's so much fun. I'm actually, hopefully, I'll become a director pretty soon of that, and I want to see how I can expand that much more wider on the country. So I focus only on Food Finders in the U.S. and my trust in India. Those are the two things I'm giving.
How can somebody contribute to your trust?
Basically, it's a non-profit in India. We're not set up anything here.
Okay.
So you can send money from here through another non-profit,
Got
or you give directly to the non-profit there,
Okay.
in Gindi 1975 Trust there, and then money. And most of the money right now is most of my batchmates and classmates, and then myself contributing.
And then Food Finders is on foodfinders.org.
Foodfinders.org.
Okay.
And they're basically not individual contributors, but mainly big companies, organizations, Vons, Starbucks, all these people.
And then volunteers that.
And then pick up, there's so much volunteers. And then we have a VP of operations, so she tells me, Shankar, I'm adding this, can you pick up this one too? I go pick up. and go. So any restaurant, anywhere, pick up, and there's a delivery point. We deliver, get the signature, and move. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, any practical and philosophical advice for entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs?
The first thing is, business, starting a business, entrepreneurship is not a job. It's not a full-time job or a part-time job. It's a lifestyle. First, you have to realize that. That's very, very important. A lot of people don't realize that. They want to do it part-time. It's not that. The other thing is, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to start a company and run it. And you have to know a lot of things. I always ask them to address the three important questions from my point of view. Why, what, and how. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to start a business? Think through it, talk to your partner. Is it ego? Is it peer pressure? Is it this? Figure out why you want to do it. What is it you want to do?
Right.
What kind of product are you going to do? Is it a sustainable product, sustainable company? Who is your customer? Who is your competition? Where's the money going to come from? Who are you going to work with?
What problem are you solving?
What's the pain thing? Are you creating something out of the box? Is it something disrupting what you're doing? Think through that, talk about it. And then how are you going to do it? Come up with a plan of action, business plan. You need to understand business, law, HR, human relationship. So you need to think through all that, put together a plan. If you have a spouse or a partner, talk to them, who you're going to work with. Think about all this stuff. And make sure you have the right attitude, you're passionate about what you do. It takes a lot of time because you have to keep on innovating, iterate, innovate, and you have to keep doing that. It's a full-time, it's a lifestyle, it's not a job. So if you really want to do that, if your motivation is money, do because you enjoy it. And you see if it's a sustainable business.
Right.
You'll make money, you'll succeed, but you got to work at it.
It's going to take you 10 years to become an overnight
success. It could be anything.
Success.
Could be 1 year, could be 10 years, could be 18 years, who knows? Yes. There's no thing. But if you do it just for the sake of money, you may not succeed, who knows? So think through all these and then enjoy what you do, have fun. And if you're really passionate about it, have the right attitude, it's success. It is success, that's all. That's all matters. And yes, it could be money, it could be power, it could be whatever it is success.
So the what, the how, and the why, and make sure that you're passionate about it.
First, yes, why. First, you figure out why you want to do it.
Right.
And then figure out what is it you want to do.
Right.
And then the how is always learning process. How is not fixed. It's going to be a changing process.
Right. Well, Shankar, thanks a lot. This was a pleasure.
I would like to end my speech with one quote, which is very important for me. It's a quote by George Bernard Shaw. Is people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. People who get on in this world are people who look for the circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. I swear by it. I believe in it. I was handed a bad set of cards, but I made my own circumstances, and I made it to where I am. So don't blame others. Don't blame circumstances. Work for it. Work at it. You will make it. That's would be my final advice. Don't point fingers and say, I did not do this because of that. No. It's up to you to deliver.
Make your own destiny.
Make your own destiny.
Oh, on that note, couldn't have said it any better. Thanks all of you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Shankar.